Dr. Rita Unscripted. I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and thanks for tuning into this episode. This time I'm going to be talking about the whole situation of attached entities. Now, I've written about attached entities in my book, Dark Angels, An Insider's Guide to Ghost Spirits and Attached Entities. I've done a video about attached entities, which I'll put a link in the bottom for you to watch. But it's been very interesting, and I'm going to say over the last 10 years, the number of calls and emails I receive from people that are having entity issues has really been on the rise, especially in the last few years. And I've asked around to a number of other practitioners, psychics, ghost hunters, if they had any insights into what was going on, if they've noticed an increase, just trying to understand why there has been just such a rush on this concept. And that's really what I want to talk about today, is this increase in the amount of sightings of attached entities. And there are several factors that are occurring. You know, the most easy one to kind of throw out there is just the number of shows about ghosts that are out on TV, where people have learned vocabulary, people have learned to recognize or maybe accept the notion that ghosts do exist, that you might hear a bump in the night and it is Aunt Sally who's coming to visit your house or coming to see what's going on in your life. It happens. It's Aunt Sally. So that's one piece, that people are becoming more educated into the notion of ghosts and what you might see, feel, or experience. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work with that whole notion of attached entities and why that it has become pretty rampant in our society. But I think also as people have become more educated in the notion of ghosts and parasitic, like energy vampires and concepts like that, there also has been an increased number that want to blame their woes on an attached entity. It's like, well, my life sucks, I have these things going on, I can't seem to get out of my way, and they want to blame it on an attached entity. You know, a number of years ago, everyone wanted to blame their woes in life and their not ability to take responsibility for getting themselves out of a hole because it was a past life thing. You know, well, I'm dealing with past life trauma, and you know, I don't have to take responsibility for the path that my life takes. You know, a more modern thing, it's an entity attachment, and now I don't need to be responsible. I need someone to fix me or heal me. But even with those people, there still seem to be too many individuals contacting me having this entity issue. And I was reading, and I'll admit it, I was reading the most recent book by David Icke. I don't have the book in my hand. I can post a link below. And he doesn't talk about entity attachments, but one of the things he does talk about is the reptilian brain. And when I read that, I had light bulbs going on, going, oh my God, that totally makes sense with what I'm seeing with this whole entity attachment issue. So what is the reptilian brain? The reptilian brain is the lower part of the brain. So there's the brain stem, and then we have the reptilian brain. And the reptilian brain is responsible for our, kind of like our autonomic nervous system. It's responsible for making our heart beat. It's responsible for getting us to breathe. I mean, because we don't pay attention to our breath. We just, I mean, we can, but we just breathe naturally, like when we're sleeping, we just breathe. And so it's responsible for those kind of automatic functions in the body. But one of the other things that the reptilian brain is responsible for is, and I'm going to say, our fight or flight mechanism. And so it is our kind of our knee-jerk reaction to things that are stressful or threatening in our environment. And it's the reptilian brain that will put us in survival mode and get us to act out of instinct. It's our instinctual brain. And it's this notion, this instinctual brain notion, that I want to speak to. One of the things that I know about entity attachments, and this is regardless of the individual, is that an entity will attach to us when we have a very specific low vibrating energy within us. And so we think we suck, or people don't like us, or we're lonely, or we're sad, or we're experiencing a deep and profound loss. It's like our personal energy has been turned down. If an intuitive person looks at an individual's auric field, their auric field seems more compressed around the body. It seems darker. One of the things that I like to say, it's like our inner light has a dimmer switch, and in these individuals, the dimmer switch is turned down. And so it makes us, our aura, our auric field defines who we are. It's our personal space. It is the edge of us. And so when an energy enters into our auric field, we assume it's ours. We assume it's part of our personality. And that's just how the entities like to get us, is they want us to assume that what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're experiencing is us. It's me. I'm sad. I'm lonely. I have this addiction. I have this issue. Maybe you should have another drink. These are all things that the entity can project to us because it has entered into our auric field. Well, if we're in a good space, and if our energy is high, and if we're projecting us in a high and loving manner, our auric field is big and it's full and it's vibrant and it's full of life. But if we're in a bad place, everything is turned down. You know, it's kind of like our auric field becomes more porous, and it gives them the opportunity to attack or to attach or whatever. You know, and if you want to understand how or why they attach, I suggest you watch my video, Attached Entities, the Bad Guys of the Spirit World. Anyway, so let's go back to the reptilian brain. One of the things that, and I think everyone can relate to this, that has been going on is that living on the earth has been hard. It has been challenging for everyone. We're worried about our jobs. We're worried about our families. We're worried about our livelihood. Are we going to make it? Are we going to annihilate ourselves? Is there going to be a riot down the street? Who's going to be president? And all of these things dampen us. They're negative thoughts. They're negative energies that put us into fear. Now, fear is one of the emotions of the fight or flight mechanism. Getting a little technical, it's attached to our first chakra at the base of the spine, which is also responsible for our survival instincts. But when we are in that space from an energetic point of view, our energy is pulled down and we're not trusting our higher self, ourself, God, whatever word you want to put there. We're not in a good place. And I get the impression, you know, kind of an intuitive impression of that might be why we are having more people complain about dealing with entities, because we as a society are in a bad place. And like everyone, there are individuals who are more sensitive to this challenging or negative energy around us. And, you know, I don't have an answer, but my speculation is that these individuals their energy is down, and they are more open, more susceptible to this communication with an entity, because really that's what it is. It's communication with these non-corporeal beings that are usually negative or bad, and sometimes more. And so how to fix it? Say hello to your energy. Bring it up. Meditate, dance, sing. anything to raise your vibration, to make you feel whole. Because if your energy is firm and your energy is solid, they can't get in. They can't bother us because we are not vibrating at a low vibration, at a low frequency, which is what they're attaching to. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, attached entities, the 2017. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Like me on Facebook, Dr. Rita Louise on Facebook. And until next time, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. Be blessed.